So the DJI Neo is so much fun, and the ability that we have that we can fly this controller free, fly it with your phone or an RC controller. You have so many different options there. But unfortunately, there is also a huge safety risk as well with these drones compared to the other DJI drones as well that you really need to know. So we've talked about a few times now how for this drone being $199, being able to fly this controller free or with your phone or with these controllers or the FPV controllers, that is fantastic. And it really is. I think this drone is great value for money. But if you fly it without actually using a controller, not many people are mentioning this. This then puts that drone and your wallet at huge risk. You see, on the Mini 4 Pro, the Air series, the Maverick series, I'm always going on about the importance of actually checking the settings. In my cheat sheets book for the Mini 4 Pro, there is several sections on here with checklists and actually telling you to go through, make sure you've actually set your correct altitude, your return to home altitude, what to do in the event of an emergency. And that is so important, not just for the safety of you, your drone, but also other people as well. Now, when flying the DJI Neo, there are really limited settings, and one of them is that when you're flying the DJI Neo, either on its own with no controller, just simply flying it from your hand, or if you're using the DJI Fly app, is that you have no return to home. So if you was to lose signal, the drone won't come back to you. And also, what happens when this battery gets depleted as well? So when I was actually using this, one of my main use cases was flying it with a DJI Fly app on my phone. I absolutely loved it. I still do. I think the ability to just turn up, take this drone out of your pocket, get your phone, which is going to be with you anyway, and be able to fly this drone manually on the actual flight sticks on your controller is absolutely incredible. I can get quick shots and get it to track me. It is great. And it is still, even out of the options of actually using it with a controller, to this day, I'm still flying it the most with my phone, but that also puts my drone at incredible risk. You see, the settings on the DJI Fly app are really minimal. This is something that needs to be improved with firmware 100%. I'm not just talking about the actual camera settings. So this drone, when you're flying it with your DJI Fly app or without any controller, just by using it from the actual buttons on here, if that drone was to take off and you're flying it away, now the actual max distance when you're using this Wi-Fi connection is 50 meters. So when I was using it, you'll notice in all these shots here, the drone wasn't that far away from me. It was pretty close. Apart from this shot here where I'm actually over the sea and it's at the maximum altitude of 50 meters. But because it's a Wi-Fi connection, this means if you're near other people or in Wi-Fi areas, that connection might not be 50 meters. It can be pretty spotty. You get this indicator on the actual Fly app, whether you've got a good signal or a bad signal, indicated by these colours here. Now, if that drone was to disconnect, it has no return to home. It's not going to fly back to you. It's not going to fly back to its home point. It's just going to hover in place, which means then you have to then go near it to be able to get a decent enough signal. So you can use the manual controls on here and fly it back to you, but for that to happen, you do have to have a good connection between your phone and the drone itself. So you're going to have to then go near that drone and actually manually fly it back to you. It's not going to come back to you. So a lot of people are saying, what a great idea. I think I saw a video of somebody using this at the really top of a mountain, over an edge. That's just a recipe for disaster, if I'm being completely honest with you. Yeah, 100% really cool. But if you're actually flying over the side of a cliff and it loses signal, you're not going to be able to recover it. So that's putting your drone at risk. So what happens then when this battery gets depleted? So the batteries are tiny on here. Really cool that we have such lightweight batteries. You get on average between 11 to 15 minutes of real world battery life from these batteries. That's good enough for the size of the drone. I'm not knocking that at all. But when the actual battery gets low, you get a message on your phone to say low battery warning. Within about 10 seconds of that warning coming on, I had a message on the screen again to say that this battery is doing a forced landing. Now, luckily, I actually anticipated this, so it was really close to me. So I was able to actually land it on the decking. But what it wanted to do as soon as this forced landing message came up was that drone started to land. So let's just go back to that same example there. You're on the top of a mountain, this drone's over a cliff, you've lost connection. This drone will then automatically start to force land once it runs out of battery. So there's no way of actually stopping that. You can go on the controller and you can see here, I'm actually just pushing up, trying to increase that altitude, seeing how long I would do it. Now, interestingly, every time that was actually depleting battery more, it would come down faster and really try and force me stopping it on here. So you might have enough, maybe like 10-20 seconds to get it back to you, but that battery will deplete fast. So once the actual battery runs out, you get that low battery warning. On the mini drones, the Air series, Mavic series, the drone will automatically return to you. That's not going to happen. If you're using the DJI Fly app on your phone, you're not using any controllers. So that actually doesn't put me off. I'm still going to be flying it the most with my DJI Fly app because this is actually intended to be flown really close to you, getting these like quick shots, selfie type of photos and videos of you and your group in that location. It's not intended to be like flown really far away or to be actually putting this drone in really risky environments when you're flying it just with your actual phone or no phone at all, just from your palm. So what about if you're actually using this with a controller? It can be flown with the new N3, the N2 controller, where you put your phone in the very top of it here, and it can also be flown with DJI RC2. I get asked all the time, can this be flown with the DJI RC? Can it be flown with different controllers? No, it can't. It has to be OcuSync 4 compatible controllers. It's the same ones using the FPV mode as well. It's the Goggles 3, the Motion Controller 3, and the FPV Controller 3. Now, if you're actually using the DJI NEO with a controller, then it completely changes the game. So then you do get to return to home and you do get the options to actually go into the settings, change the advanced safety settings, change the max altitude, change the return to home altitude. Everything that I'm actually telling you to do in my cheat sheets settings books, you can still do with a controller. It's only when you actually use your phone only with no controller, you don't get to these. So I would highly advise, if you have one of these other drones or you don't, make sure you get this drone with either a controller if it comes as that combo in your country, or think about seriously getting one of these controllers. That means then when you want to go to these areas, maybe at top of mountains, hills, flying this in more risky areas, fly it with a controller. Then you get that added peace of mind. You get your return to home. You get the other options about setting the heights, the maximum return to home height. You have so many more settings when using a controller. And more so than ever, when you're actually buying this drone or when you get it and you connect it to the DJI Fly app, you're going to get an option to get DJI Care Refresh. This is the time you really do need it, especially if you're just flying this without any controller at all. It's literally like, what's it, £19 and £32 for 2 years. So for £19 just for 1 year, that's going to cover you for damage. It's also going to cover you for flyaways. So if that drone lands and you've never seen it ever again, you can contact DJI and they'll send you out another one in the post. For the sake of 19 quid, £32, it's 100% worth it for that peace of mind. So a quick video there to let you know about the risks when flying this with your DJI Fly app. Don't let it put you off. It is a fantastic drone. Been having so much fun flying this. But in areas where it's going to be risky, I simply would just use one of the controllers. I wouldn't be flying this manually. When I am flying it manually on my phone, it's so much fun. It's my best way of flying this, but you do need to understand those risks. Go and get that DJI Care Refresh plan if you're picking this up. Go and have a look on my website as well. I've got these cheat sheets available in physical format for the Mini 4 Pro. I've also got digital versions as well. The Air series, Mavic series, the Mini series. It is great, and I will have some soon for the DJI NEO as well. So I hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.